Happy Tuesday, it's Tom coming at you from my couch today, where I got my cup of coffee and my cat, trying to do a little social distancing. I just want to take some time today to really, again, thank all of you, whether you're working in Office of Family Independence, in child welfare, and management, no matter what you do in this agency. Your work continues to be essential and is so valuable, especially at this time, to the people of Georgia. This week, our OFR team, despite the fact that many of them were working remotely, we're trying to get laptops out to folks so they could man the call centers. We're getting all sorts of changes going on in our way of working. We were still able to get out over $63 million in additional pandemic food stamp benefits to over 375,000 families. That's really great work. And you did it at a time when you're not only trying to work in a difficult situation, but also many of you are concerned about your family's health. You may have a family member who's been affected by COVID. It's a time of uncertainty. It's certainly a time of fear. Your children may be home, and if you're like, I guess, all my neighbors' children, they're all wanting you to go play in the street with them as opposed to working. So thank you for continuing to do that. On the child welfare side, of course, as well, although our numbers are down in terms of the calls we're getting, y'all are continuing to go out when necessary to see children face to face when they're in serious danger, and really exposing yourselves, and really, truly, you're on the front lines of this work. So thank you. And thank you also, of course, for doing all that you can virtually, doing the best we can to balance the need to see our children and our clients while maintaining that social distance. So anything we can do to use Skype or FaceTime or what it may be, WhatsApp or a phone, to do those visits and do those consultations, I appreciate it. Speaking of numbers being down, many of you know that tomorrow begins Child Abuse Prevention Month, which is something we've celebrated in the United States as a reminder of the importance of preventing child abuse since 1983. And I think this month will be an unusual one. We often have big celebrations where folks go out and, like, our child advocacy centers may go out and put pinwheels on the front lawns. We have big gatherings. Won't have that this month, but y'all can still help out and celebrate it virtually. How can you do that? Well, first of all, let's see. We've got a couple of websites for you. Number one is you can go to www.belongingforhope.org and find ways you can sort of spread the news about preventing child abuse. And then on Fridays, and starting this Friday, let's all wear blue, and then take pictures of ourselves wearing blue, whether it's your yoga pants or your button-down shirt or your pajamas, and send those to DHS web requests at dph.georgia.gov, and we'll post them on social media. And if you happen to take a picture of yourself wearing blue and post it on social media, please hashtag it Wear Blue Day and I Stay Home for Child Abuse Prevention Month. And then also you can tag it hashtag Georgia Blue 20, and we'll get those hashtags up on the screen for you here. Just because we're in fact, I'd say that, let me say this a different way. I was going to say just because we're here doesn't mean we can't focus on child abuse prevention, but actually because we are in this time means we need to focus even more on child abuse prevention. So many children are out of school. We have lost that radar system for getting in child abuse reports, and from the teachers and the volunteers and the coaches. So we need all of us to be able to kind of keep an eye on our children. So it's really interesting that the theme for this month, for this year's Child Abuse Prevention Month, is actually Connections Matter, supported and strong and thriving families. And really, the more that we can do to support our neighbors during this time, to support parents who are raising children in difficult circumstances. Sometimes our most vulnerable families, or the breadwinners, are not able to work right now. So we need to do all we can to support our neighbors. Speaking of supporting neighbors, there are some really good things going on right now, and I want to highlight a couple of them. Y'all all know that we have a wonderful State of Hope program, and for the last couple of years we have invited and worked with many philanthropies and churches and civic groups and individuals to bring them into our ecosystem and so that we can all develop stronger communities to support vulnerable families and to fight the scourge of child abuse and neglect. And a couple of those great stories from out of our State of Hope community. One is from Promise 686. Promise 686, Andy Cook is the CEO of that, and as you may know, they have for quite some time been organizing churches to support our foster parents. And during this time, they reached out to us, and we've connected them with some legislators and some community leaders, and they have been able to get information about families that were in need, whether it's food or supplies or some sort of assistance. And their member churches have been going out and meeting those needs. The Union County Family Connection, which is another one of our partners, has been working with getting school supplies to families that, of course, everybody's being homeschooled right now. So they're getting school supplies out to those families. They're working with school officials, also helping get meals out to those families who need them. So this is the kind of work that we can celebrate. It shows that, especially in difficult times, our fellow Georgians all come together to help each other. And we're going to continue to do that. And I think we'll look back on this as a time when we, as I said last week, when we've all come together to help each other. Final thing I want to mention today is that we're going to start sending out some workforce excellence reminders. So it's going to be called Workforce Wednesday with Woo. And here is Woo, which stands for, WO stands for winning others over, which is a strength finder's term to describe a strength related to one's ability to engage and connect with others in a constructive way. And so we'll be sending out sort of a weekly, some weekly tips about how you can woo others and really improve our workforce. As you all know, one of my really basic principles in doing this work is that we can only help vulnerable families if we ourselves feel supported and cared for and empowered. So that's what we're going to try to do through WOO. That's what we'll continue to try to do through all of our work. Thank you again to our staff, to our partners, to the courts that are still continuing to hear hearings virtually and hear emergency cases when necessary, to the attorneys and the CASAs who are working with us in these cases, to all of the organizations that are helping us and the providers that are helping us. Y'all are continuing to do great work during this time period, and I'm very grateful for it. So thank you. We'll see you again next week.